Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to Programming Knowledge. In this video, we'll be looking at while loops and also we'll be learning how to work on patterns. So by patterns, I mean we'll be printing some text in some fancy way, like we'll be making shapes like squares or rectangles. So we will be taking those shapes from the internet and we'll try to replicate the same onto our console. So first, let's look at while loops. In the previous video, we saw for loops, right? So the only difference between for loop and while loop is the condition. So in while loop, the condition is must. In for loop, if you skip the condition, it goes as an infinite loop. But in while loop, you cannot skip the condition. The way you write a while loop is you put while and inside a pair of parentheses, you define the condition. And then you have a body where the body is defined by the two curly braces, and inside the body whatever statements you write belong to the while loop. Again, if you want to execute only one condition, you can skip these braces and you can directly write the statement beside this loop. So now, how do we make an infinite loop if the condition is must? Either you can put a condition which always stays true, so something like 1 equal to 1. So this condition will always stay true and this will become an infinite loop, or you can either use the boolean true, that is true, the word true, or you can use directly integers also. So this is possible only in languages like C++, Python and all. So in Java, integers and booleans are separate, so you need to be sure whether the particular programming language supports integers as booleans. So in C++, integers are supported as booleans. So 0 is considered to be boolean false and any other number except 0 is true. So you can pick any number from the integer range, but generally people tend to use 1 as true because 0 and 1 make the binary numbers. So generally people use 1 as true since 0 is false, but you can basically use any number except 0 for making it as true. So let me give you an example over here. So let me put some number, so minus 120, which is not 0, and if I try to print some message like welcome to programming knowledge, and let me put an end line after that statement. So now if I try to execute it, if I print F9, so here you see it's going as an infinite loop. So you can put any number over here, but if I put 0 and try to execute it, you will see that nothing happened because 0 is false, so this whole loop is not executed. So to make it execute a finite number of times, what you do is you put a value over here, something like int, let's say steps equal to 10, or you can start the steps from 1. You can go either way, you can go from bottom to up or from top to bottom, you can do it either way. And inside the condition, let us print it 10 times. So while steps is less than or equal to 10, that is while this particular value stays less than or equal to 10, that is I want it to print 10 times, and then I'll increase the value of steps every time. So steps plus plus, or you can either do steps equal to steps plus 1. So both are same, you are going to do either of them. So now this will increase the value of the steps one by one, so I'll be getting this message 10 times. So here you can see the message has been printed 10 times. You can do this the other way also. So that is basically a common approach used by competitive programmers. So in competitive programming, the number of test cases are defined. So they will tell the number of test cases, like they will be telling that I'll be asking 10 queries and your program needs to answer those 10 queries. Generally people tend to use that. So let's say this is the 10 queries. So what I will do is I'll just write step minus minus. So here this operation is getting performed right over here, and since this is an integer which is not 0, it is going to be considered as true. So this a shortcut kind of thing. So this will also make the loop run 10 times. So generally while loops are used at places where you don't know how many times the loop needs to be executed. So generally people use this kind of statements to run the loop till the condition stays true. Or you can do it with a for loop also. You put an infinite loop and then break out of the loop when time comes. So either way you can do it. So that's all for while loops. Let's now talk about the patterns. So let me go into my browser and search for some patterns. Let's say C programming patterns. Let's go to images. Let's pick up some simple ones first. So here you have this half pyramid. So the way it goes is 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So first let us replace these numbers with just stars. So first we'll be making this particular triangle with all stars over there. So you have 1 star, 2 stars, 3 stars, 4 stars, 5 stars, and this will continue up to how many ever rows the user wants. So this is the first row, second row, third row, fourth row, fifth row. So now let us try to code this one. So let me just put what we are going to do here, so we don't need this. Let me put a multi-line comment, and we'll be printing something like this. We'll have 1 and then 2 stars, 3 stars, 4 stars, and then 5 stars. So first we'll try to print this, and then the user can decide how many stars he wants to print. So now if you consider this one, what we will be doing is first we will be talking about this one. So here if you observe, we are going for first row, we are going to print only 1 star. For the second row we are going to print 2 stars. For the third row 3 stars, and so on. So here the way you identify the row and the column, you need to identify a relation between the row and the column. So here the relation between the rows and the columns is, so columns is basically the number of stars. The relation is that the number of stars in every row is equal to the row number itself. So the way you do that is we will be using nested loops. So nested loops are nothing but a loop inside loop. So let me show you as an example. So here let's first take the number of rows. So let me call the variable as row itself. So int row equal to, let's say, 1, and then row is less than or equal to 5. Let's first make it for 5 rows, and then we will extend it for n rows. Row is less than or equal to 5, and then row plus plus. So now you know that this particular loop is going to run n times. So whatever is there inside this block, it's going to run for n times. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to run another loop inside this loop. So now I have the loop, right? So now I will be printing 1 line, 2 line, 3 lines. So just consider this as every separate line. So now I need to determine how many stars I want to print. So those number of stars are going to depend on the row number, right? So I'll give another loop. So for int, let's say stars equal to, let's start from 1, and then the number of stars is going to be the row number, right? So stars is less than or equal to row, right? So if we are in the third row, we are going to print 1, 2, and 3, right? So less than or equal to row, and then you are going to give stars plus plus, or stars equal to stars plus 1, whatever is convenient for you. Then what we are going to do is inside this particular loop, we are going to print the stars, right? So see out, we need to print the star, and yeah, we don't need the space or any new line, right? So the number of stars will be printed one beside the other. So what this will happen, when the first row is 1, we will start from 1, and then we will check the condition 1 is less than or equal to 1, that is true. So it will print 1 star. Again this will get activated, so 1 will become 2 now, and this condition will be checked. So 2 is not less than or equal to 1, so because the row is 1, so this particular loop will break, and then it will go to the next row. So before going to the next row, let us just print an end line so that we get to the next line. So now what is happening, when this particular first iteration is finished, it will just go to the next line, and then the row will become 2 because of this condition. So 2 is less than or equal to 5, that condition is checked. And then here it will start from 1. So 1 is less than or equal to 2, 1 star is printed. Again it will go, so 2 is less than or equal to 2, so again another star is printed, and then this condition will make it 3. So 3 is not less than or equal to 2, so this particular loop is broken, and it will go to the next line. So if you just execute it, you will be getting your output. So here you have 1 star, 2 stars, 3 stars, 4 stars, 5 stars. For n stars, you are just going to ask the user. So that's pretty simple, right? So you can just ask enter how many rows you want, something like that. So the user will enter. So int let's say number of rows, and then C in number of rows. So here I have the number of rows. So here what will happen for row 1, to row file. Now I'll just print number of rows. Now let's execute this program. It's asking how many rows you want. I want 10 rows. So if I just print it, so here I have row 10 where there are 10 stars. So this is what is a basic pattern thing. Now we'll extend the pattern. We'll extend the difficulty. So let us try to print this one. So what is happening over here? You're getting 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, something like that, right? So why is that happening? That is because of this particular loop, right? As I told you, the number of stars which are getting printed in each row is because of this inner for loop. So outer for loop just manages the rows. So this particular rows, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, these rows are managed by the outer for loop, and then the content inside each row, like this 1, 2, and 3. So these contents are printed by the inner for loop. So for printing these things, what we need to do here, we just need to print, instead of star, we just have to print stars over here, because stars is directly an integer, so we're directly printing the integers. We don't have to do anything. So first the stars is 1, so it will print 1, then it will print 2, it will print 3. Let's look at that. I want 5 rows. So here you have the outputs, right? So 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's just the number of iterations we're just printing. That is why it came like that. So let me close this. So let's try the second one now. So it is going from 5 to 1. It is just a reverse of it. So what we need to do is we need to go from 5 to 1. So what we are going to do, we are going to start the row at 5, right? So let's start it at 5, or let's make it generic. Let's just print number of rows over here, and row is greater than or equal to 1. That is, I'm going from 5 to 1. Well, the first loop doesn't make any difference, because from 1 to 5 or 5 to 1, there are only 5 iterations. So these are, as I told you, for number of rows. So inside the rows, you need to manage the content, right? So because of this statement I wrote, because if it was something like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, the inner loop should start from the highest number, right? So since it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'm starting from 1. So if it was 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, this particular loop would have started from 5, because it just the value which is getting printed over here only depends on this particular inner for loop. So here this remains the same, and now if I just try to execute it, I'm getting an error. What is that? Okay, it is not star, it is stars, and F9. So enter how many rows you want. I want 5 rows. So here you have that output. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1. So this is how you print basic patterns. Let's take one difficult one. Let's say this one, right? So this one is, you can try out this one. This is nothing but just printing spaces till the next number. So suppose this is a second row, so you have no space over here, and then you got the third row, so there are 2 spaces, and then fourth row, so you have 3 spaces, and the fifth row you don't have anything. For the last row, you are just going to print all the numbers as it is. So you can try this one, and this one is a similar one as this one, so we'll be talking about this one. So here what is happening is there is a space actually. So what you do is, for any kind of pattern, you're just going to divide it into a matrix kind of a thing. So if you just put a matrix, or what I mean is you can divide these things into rows and columns. So if you just put rows and columns, you will be seeing that this first row, there are let's say 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces, right? So after 4 spaces, the number is getting printed. That is, if there are 5 rows, so there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows, right? So if there are 5 rows, what is happening is, after 5 rows, for every 5 rows, there are n minus 1 spaces before the first element, right? So if n is 5, you have 4 spaces before the first element, and then the number of spaces are decreasing. So n minus 2 spaces, that is 3 spaces for the second element, 2 spaces for the first element, 1 space for the fourth element, and then 0 spaces for the fifth element. So fifth element is directly starting from the edge. So let's first manage the spaces. So here we won't be requiring this. So okay, we need the 2 loops, but this particular logic will change. So what will happen is, let's first deal with the spaces. So let me name it as spaces. So now when I have the first row, my spaces should be 4, right? So I need to start from the highest number. That is, I need to start from the number of rows, and this row number, it could be either way. So I would prefer going from the least to the highest. So lowest less than number of rows, and then row plus plus. So for the spaces, what we are going to do is, let me clear this down here. For the first row, we have 4 spaces. That is for taking n as 5. That is number of rows as 5. We are going to take 5 rows as an example. So we will be printing the same thing, and then you can extend it. So what is going to happen is, for number of rows, you are going to give number of rows minus 1 spaces. So if it is 5 rows, you are going to give 4 spaces for the first element. If it was 7 rows, you would have given 6 spaces for the first element, something like that. So now let us print this thing. What we are going to do is, for number of rows, so we need to run a loop from 1 to number of rows minus 1. So here for int spaces equal to 1, and then spaces is less than or equal to number of rows minus 1, and then spaces plus plus, and then since I have only one statement, I'm just going to write it over here. I'll just print a space without a new line, because once it's a new line, it's going to go to the next line. We don't want that to happen. We are just dealing with the values right now. And then after printing this, what do we need to print as the number? So here we are just starting with the row number, and then we are going till the so we are going till this middle value, right? So we are just going like 1 2 3, and then 3 4 5, and then 4 5 6 7. Basically what is happening is the first and last values are similar, and then this middle value is just the progression of this. So for every row, this particular value, that is the maximum value these elements go up to and then decrease, will depend on the row number. So here if you see, for the first row, I'm not going any further. For the second row, I'm just going one number further. For the third row, I'm going 2 numbers further. For the fourth row, I'm going 3 numbers further. For the fifth row, I'm going 4 numbers. So 5 plus 4 9, 4 plus 3 is 7, 3 plus 2 is 5, 2 plus 1 is 3, and then 1 plus 0 is 1. That's why I'm staying here. So for that, we again need a loop. So for let's call it something else now. Let's say the number, right? So for int number equal to, let's start from the row number, because it's starting from the row number, right? So first row is starting from 1, second row is starting from 2, something like that. So for row number equal to the row number, and where should it go? It should go till row minus 1, right? So number is less than or equal to row minus 1, and then again number plus plus. And then here, since I have only one statement, I'm not using that curly braces. So see out what number, right? So till where did we do? We did till here, right? So we did not print these statements. So we did not print any of these statements. We just printed this particular triangle in this fashion. So we just have a space and then 1, then space and then 2 numbers, space, then 3 numbers, something like that. So now to deal with these numbers, we need to print these numbers also, right? We cannot just omit this. So we need to start from this particular number and go till there. So how do we know what is this number? We do know that, right? We know that it is row minus 1. So if it is it is row plus row minus 1. What I'm saying is, this particular highest number till where it gets to is row plus row minus 1. So this particular equation, you can get that, right? It's just from observation that let's take this row. This is the fourth row. So that is row equal to 4. 4 plus 4 minus 1, that is 3. So 4 plus 3, that is 7. So this is the highest number we will get. So from there, we need to go till the row, right? So for first row, we are not going to go anywhere. So row plus row minus 1 is just 1. So we need to go from 1 to the highest number, 1 to the row number, which is 1. So we don't have to print anything over here. So we are already at 1. So we just break out of the loop. So here what we'll do, we'll be at 3. And then from 3, we need to go to the row number. So from 3, we need to go to 2. So we need to print this particular 2. And then again from 5, we need to go to 3. From 7, we need to go to 4. So we are just subtracting 1 1 over here. So we'll write that loop. We'll call it back number, something like that. So let's say that second triangle. Let's just call it second triangle. Let's start it from that highest number. What is that highest number? Let's start it from highest number -1, because you don't have to print that highest number again, right? So if we are at 3, you need to start from 2. We are going in this fashion. We don't have to print this 5 again, right? So we have already printed this 13579 already. We just need to print these lines. So how do we do that? We just start from, as I told you, the equation for that, row plus row -1 and -1, right? So this is this. So if you can actually simplify it, it comes as 2 into row -2. So you can write that also, or 2 into row -1, that is also correct. So you can directly write it as 2 into row -1, or I'll leave it just like that so that you understand. So this row into row -1 is actually the highest number we'll get to at every row. So row into row -1, and then the second triangle goes up to that particular row number, right? So greater than or equal to row, and then second triangle minus minus. And since I'm writing only one statement, I don't have to use that loop or that braces. So I'm just going to print that second triangle element, whatever it is. And then I'm going to go to the next line. So these three loops inside this particular loop is just makes a complex kind of a loop, but it isn't complex if we just break this down. So let me comment it down here. These are for the spaces, or for the starting spaces, and these are for the starting n numbers, right? For every row there are, if you take the nth row, there are n numbers, right? So here for the first row there are only one number, and then for second row you have two numbers, third row you have three numbers. So I'm talking about this particular triangle. So this let me just call it the n numbers, or n row numbers, something like that. And this will make the last n minus 1 numbers. So here if you see, for the first row you have only one, for the second row you have only one element, for the third row you have two elements. I'm talking about this particular triangle now. So this should give us the expected output. Let's run and see this. So till where did he go? He went up to 5, right? So he took 5 rows. Let's type with 5 rows. And okay, something is wrong over here. We did not get the output as expected. So what happened? Yeah, so here what happened is, I just took row -1, so this particular loop never ran. What I should have taken is, I should have taken this particular expression. So that's a mistake I did. So it is not row -1, it is row plus row -1. And then now if you execute it, you will be getting the output. Okay, I did not close this. So 5, and then here you have the output. So it is 1 2 3 2 3 4 5 4 3 5 4 5 6 7 6 5 4. Now the numbers are correct, but if you see, the placement is wrong. That is, we messed up the spaces. So let's see where we messed it up. When the row is 1, it will go from number of rows -1 to 1. So now what is happening is, if the row is 1, only then this condition is satisfied. What about the next row and the next row? So this should be number of rows minus row, and then spaces should be greater than or equal to 1. What I did is, if number of rows is 5 and I'm in the first row, so 5 minus 1 is 4, I'll be going from 4 to 1. And if I go to the next row, that is second row, so 5 minus 2, that is 3, I'll be going from 3 to 1. That makes it 3 spaces. So likewise we continue. So now we should be getting our expected output. If I press put 5, yes. So here you can see the exact same output we got over here. So this one we made 1 2 3 2 3 4 5 4 3. So there's a space between the numbers. We can do that very easily. What we are going to do is, we are just going to add a space between over here and over here also. Wherever we are printing the numbers, we are just going to add one space over here. And if we execute this 5, so here you are going to get the output as expected. So here you are having the same thing. So 1 2 3 2 3 4 5 4 3. So now this one looks better than this. That is because of the spacing over here. Since I gave spaces over here, I need to give 2 spaces over here for every thing. So what I mean is, since there's a space between the numbers also, so for every row, suppose I'm going for the first row, I should give 2 into those number of spaces. So suppose there are 4 spaces in between, if I give 8 spaces, it would have been better. So let me show that. There's only one slight modification to make it look like that. What we need to do is, instead of number of rows minus row, I am going to just go from 2 into this particular value, number of rows minus row. And now if I execute it, let's say 5. So here you are getting that particular equilateral triangle kind of a thing. So here if you see, so what I meant was, in the last when the last time when we did not have a space between these numbers, what was happening was, since there are no spaces, it was looking good. But once we have spaces, we are having a space between every number, right? So we need to increase the number of spaces over here also. So I just made it 2 times so that it looks exactly like this. So you can try these ones also. This is just a implementation of this. What is that is, for every row you're just omitting the middle numbers. You're going from the 1 to that particular the highest number of the row, that is the row number, and you're just omitting the in between numbers on this one also. So, and for complex patterns such as this one, so this solid diamond, or you can try this one also, that is this number printing. So 1 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 4. So this one is just a implementation of these two triangles. So what it did was, this particular triangle is first printed, so like 1 1 2 3 1 2 3 4, something like that, and then this whole loop is just inverted again. So you need to break the problem down into simpler problem. So here if you see this particular diamond, you can break it down into this particular triangle, that is the upper triangle, and then the lower triangle. If you just see it, you will be able to understand, you will be able to differentiate between those two shapes. So you need to break down the complex shapes into simpler ones, and simpler ones you pretty much can try all these shapes. So these are just implementations, so you can try it just like this. So these are number of so this is how you work with patterns. So again, for a review, this particular first for loop, that is the outer for loop, let me write it down here, or let me write it above. So outer for loop controls number of lines or rows. So the number of lines or rows are controlled by this outer for loop, and the content is always controlled by the inner for loop or loops. It depends. Like in this one, it took 3 loops for controlling the data, but if it was a simpler loop such as the first one, it was only one loop. So whatever it is, the inner or loops always control the data, and the outer loop will control the row or the number of lines. So here, if you will need to actually kind of form a relation between the row number and the data. So every time there will be a relation. So that is why it's called a pattern. Every time there is a relation between the row and data, you need to identify that particular one, and you need to work upon your logic to form such patterns. In the next video, we will be looking at do while loops, and then we will be starting with functions.